Season 55, war number 10. Today we've matched up against Old Driver. The bands are Count Nefaria, Hulk, Silk, Void, and Corvus. And my team today is Vox, Luke Cage, and Prowler. We're going to start today on Path 3 against some generic Mystic defenders who really don't do anything on Path 3. We're just going to use Luke Cage for these. And we have some very interesting mini-bosses this war. I take 4 minis. One of them is 44 Arcade, which is the fight that I died to earlier in this season. The only death I've had in the past 3 seasons. So instead of using Scream for that fight like we used originally, we are using Vox. And gonna hope that fight goes well. But we also have Node 49 Node 49 Sentinel with Prowler. Which is a fight that I didn't know if it would work originally, but we ended up taking it, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and see how that one goes later in the video. But to start, we've just got these generic Path 3, or generic Mystic defenders really. These are not generic Path 3 defenders. Normally, Ebony Maw and MCoC would never be placed here, but they are for some reason, so we're just going to quickly nuke them with Luke Cage. I got a light intercept there, and then we're gonna go for a relic, and then go for an SP1, which if it does not outright kill, my medium after reds does, and it did just outright kill. So that's fight 1. We move on to MCoC on node 12, another node that the defender doesn't really synergize with. So it's literally just punch him to death. Which Luke Cage is very good at. We're going to be going for only 4-hit combos, just so MCoC doesn't gain any of his hatred. I don't think there's that big a downside if he gains hatred. I know he gains some small benefits from his sig ability for each one he has, and then if he reaches 10, he normally would go unstoppable after a special attack. But Luke Cage's concussions are going to completely shut that off, so that doesn't matter. He's still going to gain the hatred, but he's not going to be able to activate Unstoppable or the Unblockable from it or any of that stuff. So that's cool. We just need to start going for the SP1s in a second, and then that'll hopefully do the trick. We got a Sunder up, which removed the crit resist from his sig ability, and then he goes down, just like that. Next fight is going to be against Warlock on node 26. This fight I'm just taking with Luke Cage, and I'm not taking the gore afterwards. I did path split this with another player. I probably could use Luke for the gore there, but I'm not going to. I'm going to be letting a player who has Chavez take that fight. I don't even think either of us were originally assigned that path. I didn't plan this war. I had some other things to do. It was a Friday night and I had some other stuff. So I got my backup planner to take that one. And then, at that point, it was just about soloing the fight. So, Luke does decent against Warlock. I don't really like it because the concussion, fails a lot of stuff, but it can't fail the actual infection. So killing him at the end here is going to take a little bit of time. So a little bit annoying, but he's going to go down really quick. Maybe not really quick, because I sped the video up, but you know what I mean. He goes down. So now we're fighting North Star on node 42. This is not originally my fight. It was originally assigned to a Warlock player. However, I think the Warlock was only rank 2. I don't remember, and he probably wouldn't be running recoils for it. So I was like, I've been taking this fight with Prowler for like 2 seasons now. Just give it to me again, I can easily solo it. And also with the power back boosts nerf, it makes Warlock a little bit worse at doing what he does. I wouldn't say worse enough to where I wouldn't send him here still, but I just prefer to go for Prowler because I know it works and I want to do it myself. So that's exactly what's about to happen. Here he just doesn't play into my intercept, which is annoying. But after that, we are going to go for a heavy attack really quick to counter his special, and that removes the protection. It does force me to have to drop a special 2 that is not in the faltered state. So I don't have extra crit rate or anything, and I don't get any crits on that special, so we only had 4 ruptures. But my next special 2 is going to have that falter lined up with it, so we are going to have a lot of extra crit rating on it. And just go for the heavy counter here. That's going to refresh the Incinerate, and then we go for the Falter. 3 hits into the special, lock it in with 4 ruptures, and then it goes 6, 8, 9, and then he goes down with the physical burst from the Incinerate after the special. So, next up we're fighting Node 44 Arcade. This fight I'm taking with Vox. I took this fight earlier in the season with Scream, and now we're not taking it with Scream because Vox is so much better for this fight. The strategy here is to use a PS1, and you're going to go for an SP1 as soon as the poison phase starts to happen. Once that happens, you're going to gain the Undermine buff, and if you have Undermine, Arcade basically can't do anything. We're also poison immune, of course, so at this rate, Arcade is just done. Once he gains the Arcade tokens, he's immediately going to consume them on the auto block, basically, which is going to do nothing because Undermine just completely block breaks it. So I'm not even going to play that passive in the Incinerate phase. We're just going to go for another SP 1 here. That's going to place 21 degens, and this is basically going to be lights out for him. So yeah, we just needed 2 SP1s, and the fight goes down. He throws an SP1 here. I'm going to do the Dexes. Luckily, I did not mess up the Dexes like I did when I was using Scream for it, too. But lock the degens in with the special one, and Arcade goes down. Got my revenge kill, just with a bit of a different attacker. One that is definitely a much better assignment than Scream was. So, now we're fighting Prowler on Node 47. Another fight that was not originally my assignment, but the player who was supposed to take this would have had to wait about 8 hours. Because he had to be a WAGs pre-fight for someone who was asleep in a different time zone. So I was just like, hey, can I take this so I can just get my war over with because I don't really want to wait 7 hours? And he was like, sure. So we're just taking this with Luke Cage, which is perfectly fine because Luke completely annihilates this fight. Luke kind of annihilates the whole war map, if I'm being honest, but this is definitely no exception to that. We're going to get that concussion up, and that's going to allow me to relatively safely counter Prowler's specials. It's going to fail the Falter 3 out of 4 times. Unless Prowler has the 115% ability accuracy versus non-mutants, which I don't think he does. And then the Falter never triggers in this fight, so either I got really lucky or the odds were just kind of a 3 in 4 chance like I thought they would be. So, we're going to go for another SP2 here. I neglected to do the SP1 spam, even though I probably could have. But my concussion was also getting close to expiring, so getting another one relatively fast was going to be helpful there. And then we're going to go for an SP... Not an SP1, we don't need to. We just use the Relic and then a combo and then he's dead. So, last fight of the war is going to be against a Sentinel on Node 49. We're using Prowler for this. I didn't originally think this fight was possible. I noticed that the backup planner I had gave it to me. I was like, oh, how the heck am I doing this? He found a video for it. I watched it and I was like, okay, actually this might make sense. Couple things I realized in this fight. One, crit resist does not apply to hits that aren't yellow, meaning if you have a crit replacement like Prowler does, crit resist doesn't affect you. I tested this a lot, and I can't exactly confirm that, but the math kind of makes it sound like that's the case. So, another thing we have to worry about is that every time we dex, we have to worry about the unstoppable triggering. I'm just kind of hoping that that doesn't happen. We are going to dex multiple times in this fight, so every time that I do that, I'm just going to go for a medium and then back up and then just check to see if he went unstoppable. He's not going to go unstoppable once in this fight. I'd say that I dexed 4 or 5 times, so you definitely could say I was lucky. However, even if he did trigger the unstoppable, it's not that big a deal. We'd just have to wait it out for a second, maybe take a little bit of brute force damage, but you're going to see that that didn't really make a difference in this fight. So I'm going to go for my SP2 here, and then we're going to get a crit there. Just one crit, that's special, that's fine. And then with Sentinel's max analysis charges, he's going to have cheaper specials, but because of the fact that Prowler cheeses basically any power reserve mechanic, it didn't matter. I also thought that I might have messed up really badly there due to accidentally parrying, but Stun Reflect was down because we're placing Incinerates constantly, so it didn't matter at all, and that's how that fight went. An assignment that I would make again in Decay, and outside of Decay, absolutely would send again. So, Prowler does it again. What a goated war attacker. And that's my war video. So, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this one. I'll see you in the next one.